Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of Let's Play Pokemon Yellow. Alright, this is going to be a post-commentary episode today because this was my initial testing of the capture card. And this was supposed to be just me walking around for a second, but I figured, you know what, it seems to be working fine. So yeah, here we are. Well, this is me testing around, that's why I'm looking around reading stuff, looking like an idiot. Just so you know, if you're wondering about that. We're in Saffron City now, and we can't progress in the story yet because I do have to go back to Lavender Town to save Mr. Fuji and, you know, liberate the Lavender Tower from Team Rocket. But before that, I was going to talk about... I wanted to talk about Oras. The Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire a lot, and the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to say, so I figured, you know what, let's take a little break and dedicate a whole episode of me just talking about it. What we're going to do in the episode, though, what I'm going to end up recording, is I got Psychic from the Psychic Command. I'm going to be using that in my Snorlax like I did last time. Spoiler alert, if you don't even know what Red's team is, yeah, Red has a Snorlax, so I'm getting a Snorlax. I always get a Snorlax anyway, so I'm glad about that. And I always get a Pikachu anyway. And I always have one of the starters, so it's not that different, Red's team, from my usual team here in Gen 1. But yeah, what I'm going to be doing is here in Saffron, I'm going to do the only thing I can do, and I'm going to take on the fighting type gym. That's actually a pretty interesting story, because it brings up a pretty cool idea. What happened was, Sabrina's Psychic type gym, and there was a way to teach her Psychic strong against fighting, took them down, and then she took over as the official Pokemon League gym in Saffron City. Because, you know, you can only have one, and I remember, it always reminds me of that episode of the Pokemon with the Yaz and the Kaz gym. I'm going, like, way back. I hope somebody out there remembers. That was actually one of the most... I think it was because I had that... I'm going to feel old again. I think that's because I had that on VHS, that episode. So that's why I remember that one so much. I don't know. But yeah, I'm making the point here that Saffron belongs to Team Rocket. Thank you for saying it all for me, Rocket guy. So yeah, that's that. Let's move on. Pokemon Oras. I beat the game in 6 days, and that might be normal to a lot, but not to me, because I had such a good time. I really did. There's one thing I loved about Gen 5 was, to me, it perfected all the things that Gen 4 fixed up from the glitches and the problems and the Pokemon battle system and everything. And Gen 6 really smoothed it out. They did everything so streamlined now, and moving on to Oras, it's such a nice natural thing because, you know, I loved Gen 3. I played that to death, which is kind of weird because for a lot of people, Gen 3 was the time where they dropped out of Pokemon, and a lot of people came back in Gen 4, where I didn't. I actually didn't go for Gen 4. I went to Gen 5 after that. I do have a Gen 4. I keep saying this in, like, every time I mention Gen 4. I do have, I think I have Pearl version on me now. I will pick it up and play it one day, but for now it's just collecting dust in my bag where I keep my 3DS games or my DS games. But, yeah, Gen 3, though, did have a lot of problems, and it pretty much was Water type the game. I had Emerald version, so I never really had Ruby or Sapphire, but I ended up picking Omega Ruby myself, because my friend was pretty cool. He actually lent me Ruby, because we were talking about that, and I played Ruby, but Emerald is the ultimate experience. I remember I was talking with a friend of mine, True Darkness 100 MC, mouthful, and we were talking about that when it was first announced, the Gen 3 remakes, because we couldn't believe it. The idea of Gen 3 remakes, we never saw that coming. And if you've seen my video game analysis on the Pokemon timeline, you'd see that I explained that I really don't think a Gen 3 remake would happen because they remade Gen 1 and 2 for younger audiences to get the beginning of the series, as well as tying in the timeline where Gen 1 and Gen 3 happened at the same time, and Gen 2 and Gen 4 happened at the same time, with Gen 5 being afterwards and moving on from there. What I like, though, is it seems like it seems what I liked about Gen 3 without spoiling anything is it really does after you beat the game mostly. It doesn't really go for it that much except when you go to Malvile City, but there is a lot of references to the Kalos region in Gen 6, which I really like. I think that's cool. It's something that they'll do. By the way, I'm not cutting anything out in this episode. Just so you know, that's why you're seeing me walk into the Pokemon Center, even though I should take my bike. I was too stubborn, but I was like, on the way back, get my bike. And I always do this, no matter how many times I play this game, I always forget about that sign. But yeah, you know. So the game itself, I love. I loved it. I love the modern Pokemon battle system. It's such a breath of fresh air. Like playing Yellow version right before this was really good for me because it really made me appreciate how far the series has gone. You have no idea. I really, really appreciate how far the series has gone. And one thing I really like that Gen 3 does is the thing with Gen 3 for me that was a problem was I share the common complaint that the surfing was way too much, and I also didn't like how much backtracking you had to do once in a while, and I hated the Battle Frontier. I mean, for those who like the Battle Frontier, fine, I'm not gonna put that against you. I hated it. I felt like you couldn't do anything because it was one of those things where, let's say you had a bunch of Pokemon level 45, and then one of your Pokemon was level 51. All of a sudden, because that one level 51, everyone's level 100, and everything takes you down. So I have to make sure everyone's level 100. You can't even get experience there either while you're doing it. And most of the time when I'm playing a game, my Pokemon end up up to level 55 or something by the time I'm done with the game. So everyone's level 100 in the Battle Frontier. So I have to grind up to level 100, which is impossible. Which, by the way, Oris did a good job with getting experience after you beat the game, which I'll get to in a minute. But I adore what they did because there's so many moments where actually they made your rivals May and Will, what was his name, Willie, something like that. They made them a lot more. Well, for one thing, because of the new 3S capabilities, they do have a lot more personality, which I like. And I mean, of course, it's natural to happen with the better hardware, but. What happens is you see them more often because more often than not they are your travel companions, and they'll come to you and say, hey, you want to head back to this town with me? And you say yes, and they warp you there. You don't have to walk all the way back from whence you came. It's awesome. Like, I hope future Pokemon games do that because I think that's really cool. They also made the sea routes a lot smaller, which I appreciate, and I noticed that random encounters in the sea is a lot less frequent than it was in the original Gen 3. A lot less frequent, which I'm really happy about because Tentacruels are basically the Zubats of the water, and I see a lot less of them now, and that made me happy. They really trimmed down the excessiveness, and they also added a lot of great things. Like, the story itself was altered in very little ways where it doesn't disrespect the original story, but also adds to it. Like, they sewn in Mega Evolution really, really well with it. I think that a lot of really good, like, this was the game a lot of people were waiting for, and I think the Pokemon Company not exceeded. I want to say exceeded, but met with the expectations. It's awesome. I really like it. Here's me being too lazy to go to the Pokemon Center, so I just use Super Potions where I probably shouldn't. Because I'm underleveled, and my team has no advantage at this time over a fighting-type Pokemon. Yep. But, and I was contemplating on cutting at this point when I was recording this, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, one thing I like is how they did the secret bases. That's what I was talking about before with grinding, because what I do right now is, after the game, right now I'm working on contests, because I did everything else. So I'm going to do the contest. I want to pick up my Pikachu with the certain costume. I'm thinking about getting the cool costume. I'm not sure yet. But I really like how... I really enjoy the secret bases because it's a lot more than just decorating and making like, hey, look at me, I got this cool secret base, you know? Because, like, what happens is if you street pass with someone, their base will be in your map. So you can go to them and battle them. And if you want, you can add to 5 of these people into your base for other people to fight alongside you. So let's say that you had a really tough battle with this guy and you want to keep battling because you actually do get experience for this. it's a great way to make experience. So every time I want good experience, I'll go to my base and I'll fight these 5 people I had a good time with, and I liked the idea of making your own gym. That's what I kind of did. I didn't make many traps or puzzles, but I arranged the trainers in a way where I got my own. What's the word? I got my own gym. Yeah, duh. So that's really cool. That's what I've been doing right now, other than the contests. I also like how the Poke Block machine is something you just have in your backpack. That's cool. The Mach Bike and Acro Bike are back, and I'm really glad it's not as annoying. Yeah, it's weird, because in the original Gen 3, I liked the Acro Bike a lot more than the Mach Bike, because the Mach Bike was like impossible to control for me. But in this one, I like it. I like the Mach Bike a lot better because it's faster, and they made it a lot easier to control. And to this day, I don't understand. You know those skipping stones that go up they go up the mountains, especially in Mount Pyre is a good example. I'm sorry, Mount Chimney. I'm thinking, how do you do that? I don't know, because it keeps saying, oh, you have to do it with the Acro Bike. I gotta look up on YouTube. Yeah, you know. Or if you guys want to tell me in the comments, that'd be cool. Yeah, I can't describe it any other way. It's those little stones that go up the slopes that you can't jump over. And they say you have to use the Acro Bike to get up there, because I'm trying to go around Mount Chimney a little more. There's a couple of TMs I missed, but I can't find it. But yeah, one thing this game gave me a lot was the nostalgia, though. Speaking of which, which is why I'm playing the hell out of it right now. Even I beat the Delta episode. I did a lot in the Battle Resort. I'm doing contests right now. I beat the Trick Master. I really bled the game dry again, and I played Gen 3 I think 4 or 5 times. It's actually the Gen, other than 4 and 5 and 6, obviously. I don't count 6 because it's new, though, that I played the least. Yeah, I don't know. I just knew what to do. The story, I think, is very rich in 3. Gen 5, I think, has the best story overall, including the sequel, but Gen 3, I think, had a really top-notch story. I think it was really cool, and they really enhanced it for this remake. I like the new. I love the new touchscreen interface, because you have the 3 modes in Gen 6, along with you can watch the news, so you don't have to go to TVs, and you also have the map on you at all times, which you can sense where your new bases are, or new trainers want to rematch, which is really cool. They show you places, where trainers are. It's really nice. They also have this new thing where, you know, in Gen 5, how Pokemon will pop out of the grass, and you can see their heads over the tall grass. They enhanced that a little bit, where you have to sneak up on them. They took advantage of the circle pad, where if you lightly tap it, you'll tiptoe over them. You can sneak up. It's like hunting for these things. That I like. I thought that was really cool, and they alert you when you find them, because these ones that alert you, I forgot the name of the device, but the ones that alert you that have their head popping out, they usually have a rare move, or they're a rare kind of Pokemon, or they have good stats, which I like, and all. But yeah, I really like that. By the way, last time I picked Hitmonchan, so this time I picked Hitmonlee. I just want to make that clear. Oh, I didn't beat the center yet, did I? The gym yet, did I? I did. I think I did. But back on topic. There's so much I enjoyed about this. There's so much they really smoothed everything out, because as I did find Gen 3 problematic, despite how much I like it. I love the game. It's just there were some problems that are very glaring to me, but definitely fixed. Unfortunately, unlike Gen 6 and 5, I did have to use a couple HM slaves. That's something I really wanted to avoid, because they never got around that problem I personally had with. There are way too many water HMs in this game, which I don't want to put all on my Gyarados. By the way, also... Oh, no, okay, now I didn't beat it. Well, spoiler alert, I got Hitmonchan. There's Chuck Norris. He's just called Expert here, but in the Gen 3 remake of Gen 1, he's Black Belt Chuck. Yeah. But... yeah, the one thing I like is Latios. Latios is, riding Latios is really fun. I don't know, I think it's Latias in Alpha Sapphire, don't quote me on that but Latios is really fun. You get the Eon Flute at one point, which you call on it, and then you can see. It's not like it Fly, where it just instantaneously takes you with a cutscene to another town. You actually go on top, and you get to see all of the region from the sky, and it's cool. You go into random battles. It was actually pretty tough flying types. I actually got good experience from them too. Usually like around level 45 to level 50. And I can also go to these secret areas where I can catch legendaries. The game's built so you can catch all these legendaries, and I think they did that on purpose because with the Pokemon Bank. Because let's face it, with the PSS and along with the Pokemon Bank, Pokemon are now money. They're money. But it does come in handy too. Like I got this stone from Walter, not Willie. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, the white-haired kid. Walt, I think. I don't remember. You know what I'm talking about. I hope. Well, I guess it's not a spoiler then. You can consider it. I really like that mechanic with that. Yeah, that was cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I pick Hitmonchan. Yeah, Hitmonlee. Hitmonchan. I think that's how it works. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say, which is a convenient timing, because we are at pretty much the end of the episode now. Trying to think. No, I think that's all I got. But yeah, I'm really happy I got it. It's a really good time, just as good a time as I remember. I highly recommend it for any Pokemon fan. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yeah, that's all I got. I just wanted to gush about it, and I did a good job, I think. I mean, there's really no way good job at gushing. Everyone's gonna roll their eyes at you. But yeah, I picked I got a Sceptile in case anyone's curious, and yeah, oh yeah, like I was saying before, I took the time to catch a Magikarp, and I actually trained it to a Gyarados. I've done that a couple of times. It's so worth it. I got a shiny Metagross from. I don't usually take special event Pokemon for a team, but this time I thought it was an exception because I was gonna catch a Metagross anyway. But yeah, I'm just making the point here that you can't fight this gym yet. We got to go back to Lavender Town, which we'll do in the next episode. So thank you all so much for watching. I've been Billy, your video game analyzer. Have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time.